Today, we're diving into the top 6 most valuable state quarter dollar coins. Coins that aren't just pocket change, but pieces of American history. From minting errors to low production runs, these quarters have stories to tell and serious value to offer. First up, the 2015 Bombay Hook Quarter is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series introduced by the United States Mint in 2010 to honor national parks and historic sites across all U.S. states and territories. Bombay Hook National Wildlife Refuge, located in Delaware, was chosen as the theme for the 4th coin released in 2015 and the 29th overall in the series. This coin captures both natural beauty and American conservation history, making it a favorite among collectors and nature enthusiasts alike. The design on the reverse of the Bombay Hook Quarter was created by artist Joel Iskowitz and engraved by Phoebe Hemphill. It features a beautifully detailed scene from the wildlife refuge, showcasing a great blue heron in the foreground and a great egret standing in shallow water behind it. These birds are 2 of the many species that inhabit the 16,000-acre tidal salt marsh of Bombay Hook. The scene captures the essence of Delaware's coastal wetland habitat, and the mirror-like water surface reflects the birds and trees, adding to the coin's visual appeal. Surrounding the image are the inscriptions Bombay Hook, Delaware, 2015, and E Pluribus Unum. The obverse features the familiar portrait of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan in 1932 and used throughout the quarter series. Bombay Hook itself is one of the oldest national wildlife refuges in the United States. Established in 1937, it plays a crucial role in preserving habitats for migratory birds along the Atlantic Flyway. The refuge provides safe resting, feeding, and breeding grounds for hundreds of species. The U.S. Mint's choice to feature this site on a quarter reflects the growing public appreciation for America's protected natural spaces and the efforts to preserve them for future generations. The 2015 Bombay Hook Quarters were produced at 3 U.S. Mint facilities: Philadelphia, marked with a P, Denver, marked with a D, and San Francisco, marked with an S. The Philadelphia and Denver Mint struck the coins for general circulation, while the San Francisco Mint struck them as part of special collector sets. Mintage numbers for circulation coins were approximately 223.2 million from Philadelphia and 223.8 million from Denver, making this a relatively high mintage issue compared to some other quarters in the series. The San Francisco Mint, however, produced a much smaller number, roughly 1.1 million coins intended for numismatic sets only, which makes the S-Mint mark versions more desirable among collectors. Although most Bombay Hook quarters in circulation are worth face value, there are several factors that can increase their value. Coins in uncirculated or mint state, MS condition, especially those graded MS 65 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can sell for a premium. As of recent market trends, an MS 65 Bombay Hook quarter typically sells for around $3 to $5, while MS 67 examples can fetch $20 or more depending on demand and eye appeal. An MS 68 example from the Philadelphia or Denver Mint could bring in significantly more, often between $75 and $150, given their relative scarcity at that high grade. Next up, the 2007 Idaho State Quarter is part of the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program, which began in 1999 and ran until 2008. As the 43rd coin released in this historic series, the Idaho Quarter was officially issued on June 4, 2007, representing the state that joined the Union in 1890. Like the other coins in the series, the Idaho Quarter was struck for a limited time, giving it special appeal for collectors who value both its artistic design and state heritage. The reverse of the Idaho Quarter features a beautifully detailed image of a peregrine falcon in flight, with its wings stretched wide and its gaze turned downward as if scanning the land below. This design choice honors the fastest animal on Earth, the peregrine falcon, a bird that once faced the threat of extinction but has made an incredible comeback, especially in Idaho, where conservation efforts played a key role in its recovery. The coin's design was created by U.S. mint artist Don Everhart and includes the state motto Esto Perpetua, which is Latin for "Let it be perpetual," reflecting Idaho's enduring natural beauty and the resilience of its wildlife. In addition to the falcon, the outline of the state of Idaho appears in the background, anchoring the design with a geographic identity. The inscriptions on the reverse include Idaho, 1890, the year the state joined the Union, 2007, year of issue, and E pluribus unum, which appears on all state quarters. The obverse, as with every quarter in the 50-state series, features the classic portrait of George Washington, originally sculpted by John Flanagan and slightly modified for the series to accommodate additional design elements. The Idaho quarter was minted at all 3 U.S. mint facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Circulation strikes were produced in high numbers, with the Philadelphia Mint, marked with a P, striking approximately 294.8 million coins, and the Denver Mint, marked with a D, producing about 286.8 million. These high mintage figures mean that most Idaho quarters found in circulation today are only worth face value unless they are in exceptional condition. The San Francisco Mint, however, produced special proof versions of the Idaho quarter, both in standard copper-nickel clad and in 90% silver. These proof coins were never intended for circulation and were sold in collector sets. The clad proof version typically carries a value of about $3 to $5 in pristine condition, while the silver proof version, due to its precious metal content, is usually valued between $8 and $15 depending on silver market prices and condition. As for uncirculated or mint state examples of the Idaho quarter, values can vary based on grade. Coins graded MS-65 by professional services like PCGS or NGC may be worth between $3 and $7, while those graded MS-67 or higher are more desirable and can fetch between $15 and $50, depending on the buyer and overall demand. Extremely high grade. Examples, such as MS-68, are significantly rarer and have been known to sell for over $100, especially if they are certified and have strong eye appeal with full luster and no visible contact marks. There are no major confirmed mint errors, or varieties widely associated with the Idaho state quarter, unlike some of the earlier state quarters like the Wisconsin Extra Leaf or the Delaware Spitting Horse. However, collectors still examine large quantities of these coins for anomalies such as off-center strikes, die cracks, or doubled dies. Any Idaho quarter with a noticeable and verifiable error could command a premium, depending on its uniqueness and condition. The 2010 Yosemite National Park quarter is the third release in the U.S. Mint's America the Beautiful Quarters program. This series, which began in 2010, celebrates national parks and sites in each of the 50 states, Washington, D.C., and the U.S. territories. The Yosemite Quarter honors one of the most iconic and breathtaking landscapes in the United States, Yosemite National Park in California. Yosemite was established as a national park on October 1, 1890, and it's famed for its towering granite cliffs, ancient sequoia trees, and stunning waterfalls. The park draws millions of visitors each year and has been central to the American conservation movement, thanks in part to naturalist John Muir, who campaigned for its preservation. The reverse of the Yosemite Quarter captures one of the most recognizable natural landmarks in the park. El Capitan, a massive granite monolith that rises about 3,000 feet above the valley floor. The design, created by U.S. Mint Artistic Infusion Program artist Joseph Mena, features a detailed view of El Capitan framed by pine trees and the Merced River in the foreground. It beautifully represents Yosemite's rugged beauty and serene landscape. Surrounding the design are the inscriptions, Yosemite, California, 2010, and the national motto, E pluribus unum. The obverse of the coin, consistent throughout the America the Beautiful series, features a restored version of John Flanagan's 1932 portrait of George Washington. It includes the inscriptions, United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and $quarter. This design was modified to appear more like the original than the state quarters versions and is bolder in detail. The Yosemite quarter was minted in Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. Here's the mintage breakdown. Philadelphia. Mint, P, 34.8 million coins. Denver Mint, D, 34.8 million coins. San Francisco Mint, S. These are special proof coins, including both clad proof and 90% silver proof versions made for collectors. Clad proof coins had a mintage of about 1.4 million, while the silver proof coins had a slightly lower mintage. In terms of value, Yosemite quarters from circulation, either P or D mint marks, typically carry face value of 25 cents unless in mint state condition. However, coins that are uncirculated and graded MS-65 or better by third-party services like PCGS or NGC can command $2 to $10, with higher grades such as MS-67 or MS-68 bringing in $30 to $100 plus, especially if they exhibit strong luster and no marks. The clad-proof Yosemite quarters from the San Francisco Mint, which were not intended for circulation, are worth around $2 to $5 depending on condition. The 90% silver-proof versions, on the other hand, typically fetch $12 to $20 depending on silver market prices and coin grade. These are popular among collectors building America the Beautiful quarter sets in silver. As for error varieties, there are no major publicized or highly valuable errors associated with the Yosemite quarter, though some minor errors like die cracks, die chips, or off-center strikes occasionally appear and may fetch modest premiums among error collectors. Always check with a coin grading service or an expert before attributing value to a suspected error. Next up, the 2003 Alabama State Quarter holds a special place in U.S. coinage history, not only because it represents the 22nd state to join the Union, but also because it was the first U.S. coin to feature an actual historical woman. Issued as part of the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program, the Alabama Quarter was released into circulation on March 17, 2003, becoming the 22nd coin released in the series, which ran from 1999 to 2008. This coin honors Helen Keller, one of Alabama's most celebrated figures, whose life and accomplishments continue to inspire people around the world. Born in Tuscumbia, Alabama in 1880, Keller became deaf and blind at a young age due to an illness. Through the help of her devoted teacher Anne Sullivan, she learned to read, write, and speak, eventually becoming an internationally known author, political activist, and advocate for the disabled. Her appearance on the Alabama Quarter marked a groundbreaking moment in numismatic history, as she became the first person with a disability, and the first woman, to be featured individually on a circulating U.S. coin. The reverse design of the Alabama Quarter was created by artist Norman E. Nemeth and centers around a portrait of Helen Keller seated and reading a book in Braille, symbolizing her education and achievements. Above the image is her name inscribed in Braille, another numismatic first. Flanking her are longleaf pine branches and magnolia blossoms, representing the state tree and flower of Alabama, respectively. Below her image is the phrase, "Spirit of Courage," capturing the resilience and determination that defined Keller's life and legacy. Surrounding the design are the inscriptions, Alabama, 1819, the year the state joined the Union, 2003, year of coin issue, and E pluribus unum. The obverse side of the coin features the traditional portrait of George Washington, originally designed by John Flanagan for the 1932 quarter and modified slightly for the State Quarters series to allow space for inscriptions. The inscriptions include United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and $quarter. The Alabama quarter was struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints for circulation, as well as the San Francisco mint for A. proof coins. The Philadelphia mint, P, produced approximately 225 million Alabama quarters, while the Denver mint, D, struck around 232 million, making them widely available in circulation. The San Francisco mint, S, produced both clad proof and 90% silver proof versions for collectors with significantly lower mintages. The clad proof coins, made of copper nickel, feature a mirrored background and frosted design, while the silver proof coins have added intrinsic value due to their precious metal content. When it comes to value, circulated Alabama quarters from the Philadelphia and Denver mints are generally worth face value, or $0.25, unless they are in exceptionally good condition. Uncirculated examples, especially those graded MS65 or higher by grading services like PCGS or NGC, are more valuable. A Mint State 65 Alabama quarter typically sells for $2 to $5, depending on the market. Higher grade specimens, such as MS67 or MS68, can fetch significantly higher prices, sometimes ranging from $15 to over $100. Especially for certified coins with excellent luster, no visible contact marks, and sharp detail. The clad-proof Alabama quarters produced in San Francisco are valued between $2 and $5, depending on condition, while the 90% silver-proof versions often sell for $8 to $15 or more, based on current silver prices and collector interest. Coins still in their original proof sets or with professional certification tend to command higher premiums. Although there are no major or widely known errors associated with the Alabama quarter, collectors occasionally find minor anomalies such as die cracks, die chips, or off-center strikes. These are typically worth modest premiums if the errors are visible and dramatic enough to be of interest to error collectors. Next up, the 2004 Wisconsin State Quarter is one of the most talked about coins in the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program, not only because it highlights the state's agricultural legacy, but also due to the discovery of rare and valuable error varieties that have captured the attention of collectors across the country. Released as the 30th coin in the series, the Wisconsin Quarter officially entered circulation on October 25, 2004, representing the 30th state to join the Union, which it did on May 29, 1848. Wisconsin's design pays tribute to its rich farming, tradition, and dairy industry, which earned the state the nickname America's Dairyland. The reverse of the coin, designed by Alfred Maletsky and sculpted by Norman E. Nemeth, prominently features three symbolic elements. On the left side of the design is the head of a Holstein cow, representing Wisconsin's dominance in dairy production. At the center sits a round of cheese, specifically cheddar, emphasizing the state's world-famous cheese-making heritage. On the right is a partially husked ear of corn, symbolizing the state's role in crop farming and agriculture. Above these elements is the inscription "Forward," Wisconsin's state motto, reflecting progress and ambition. The surrounding text includes Wisconsin, 1848, 2004, and E pluribus unum. The design effectively captures the heart of Wisconsin's economy and culture, its agricultural strength, and the people behind it. The obverse of the coin features the traditional portrait of George Washington, originally created by John Flanagan, for the 1932 quarter and adapted for the state quarters. It includes the inscriptions United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and Quarter Dollar. The Wisconsin quarter was produced at both the Philadelphia P and Denver D mints, as well as at the San Francisco S mint for proof coinage. The Philadelphia Mint struck approximately 226.8 million coins, while the Denver Mint produced about 226.4 million. The San Francisco Mint issued clad-proof and 90% silver-proof versions in significantly lower quantities for collectors. Under normal conditions, circulated Wisconsin quarters from Philadelphia or Denver are worth face value, 25 cents. However, The 2004 Wisconsin quarter became the focus of intense interest when two distinct error varieties were discovered in circulation in early 2005. These varieties, both from the Denver Mint, are now famously known as the extra leaf high and extra leaf low errors. In these error varieties, an extra leaf appears on the left side of the ear of corn in the reverse design. On the extra leaf high variety, the extra leaf points upward toward the corn husk. On the extra leaf low, the additional leaf droops lower toward the wheel of cheese. These extra leaf varieties were the result of die gouges, likely accidental damage or tooling on the die used at the Denver Mint, and they are not found on Philadelphia minted coins or on proof coins. Because these varieties were unexpected and relatively scarce, they quickly gained attention and value among collectors. At the height of their popularity, examples of the extra leaf low and extra leaf high quarters sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars depending on condition and certification. Although prices have stabilized over time, these errors still command substantial premiums on the numismatic market. As of now, a circulated extra leaf low or extra leaf high variety typically sells for $100 to $250, depending on condition. Uncirculated and professionally graded examples, particularly in Mint State 65, MS 65, or higher, can command prices from $300 to over $1,000, especially when slabbed by top grading services like PCGS or NGC. The most pristine examples, such as those graded MS 67, have sold for $2,000 or more at auction. Next up, the 2006 South Dakota State Quarter is the 40th coin released in the U.S. Mint's iconic 50 State Quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. Officially entering circulation on November 6, 2006, the South Dakota Quarter honors the state's cultural heritage, natural beauty, and historical significance, combining both majestic landscapes and patriotic landmarks into a single, elegant design. The reverse of the South Dakota Quarter showcases a powerful composition centered on Mount Rushmore, the world-famous granite sculpture located in the Black Hills. Carved by Gutzon Borglum and completed in 1941, the monument features the faces of 4 U.S. presidents, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln, representing the birth, growth, development, and preservation of the United States. The monument is both a symbol of American ideals and a major tourist destination, and its presence on the coin ties directly to South Dakota's identity. But the coin's design doesn't stop there. Above Mount Rushmore soars a pheasant in flight, the official state bird of South Dakota. The ring-necked pheasant is a vibrant and recognizable bird native to the region, representing the state's thriving wildlife and its reputation as a top hunting destination. Flanking the central imagery are heads of wheat, South Dakota's chief agricultural product, symbolizing its vital role in grain production and its deep-rooted farming culture. Designed by artist John Mercanti, the coin's reverse includes the inscriptions South Dakota, 1889, the year the state joined the Union, 2006, year of issue, and the nation's motto, E pluribus unum. The result is a design that weaves together South Dakota's natural heritage, historical pride, and agricultural importance into one cohesive and visually striking coin. The obverse of the South Dakota Quarter follows the standard layout of the State Quarters series, featuring the profile of George Washington as originally designed by John Flanagan. Inscriptions include United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and Quarter Dollar. In terms of mintage, the South Dakota Quarter was struck at 3 U.S. mint locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint produced approximately 245 million quarters, while the Denver Mint struck 265 million, both in standard copper-nickel-clad composition for circulation. Meanwhile, the San Francisco Mint issued clad-proof and 90% silver-proof versions for collectors. The silver-proof coins contain 90% silver and 10% copper and were sold as part of the 2006 proof coin sets. In the collector market, circulated South Dakota quarters from either the Philadelphia or Denver Mint typically hold face value, 25 cents, unless they are in exceptional condition or part of a complete set. Uncirculated coins graded MS-65 can fetch between $1 to $4 depending on demand and quality. Higher grade specimens, such as MS-67 or MS-68, especially those certified by PCGS or NGC, can command $15 to $100 or more based on luster, strike sharpness, and overall eye appeal.